morning, my stamping friends. It is Tammy with Stamp and Scribe Tammy with our weekly Facebook Live, Wednesday, March 10th. If you're watching the replay, that's when this is happening live. So welcome to those that are watching live and welcome to those that are catching the replay. I have got a real treat of a project. I'm going to build off of what we were working on last week in the very virtual party group with the Butterfly Brilliance collection. And I'm going to be doing some watercoloring today. So very basic because I stick to pretty simple. And I hadn't used my watercolor brushes yet. So I thought, well, let's break those out and see what we can do. And I'm also going to share with you a card that I kind of shared after the fact last week. So it should be a fun day today. It's kind of a learning as we go. I kind of decided to switch it up from my original plan a little late in the game today, but that's all right. I've got all the tools here to hopefully be successful in this, and I'm going to share it in a different color, so it should be really a good time. So all the videos are a prize patrol, so like, share, comment, and we will get you entered for prize patrols. And I always, hold on, I got my volume going here. So all the videos there it is. Okay. Whoa, what a start for the day, huh? So anyways, good morning. Welcome to the Stamp and Scribe Community Facebook Live on this Wednesday, March 10th. We're going to get started right away. Okay, and I'm going to flip this down here. Again, I'm going to build off of this. I don't want to say promise, but I'm going to probably go back to a nice simple card next week. All right, so today I've got kind of all kinds of things going on here today. I am going to share with you, again, the Butterfly Brilliance collection. I'm going to do some watercoloring and some heat embossing again. Had a couple questions on that, so we're going to just do it again. And I will share with you, again, if I'm doing it, it's not that hard because I wouldn't be doing it if it was. I'm going to move this back just a little bit, it looks like. Okay, looks like we're all set. So I am using the stamp set. I'm using the dies today. I'm not using these ones today, but I am using the larger framelits. And I got a whole nice spool of polka dot tulle that arrived this morning. Look at this beautiful ribbon. So I get to just go crazy with that. I was getting a little concerned of what I was going to use. And you know, when it happens, it was like 9:30 and I thought, oh, I'm going to have to come up with another ribbon. And I did for one of the cards. And I didn't really like it, but it always works out. It always works out. Something's going to happen. And lo and behold, the UPS guy showed up at about 10 o'clock. So what a treat, huh? Okay, so let's get started here with what is the other stamps that I'm using. I am using one other one too. Kind of the one I've coined my stamp set of the month, and I don't have it handy. I already pulled the stamps off of it, so it's ready. But it is, let me think of the name. I know this. Well, it's going to show up here. Oh, Peaceful Moments. Peaceful Moments is what I'm using for the sentiments today. So that's what we got going on here today. And let me share with you. So this is the one where I had to improvise the ribbon. It still looks nice, but I would have preferred my lovely polka dot tulle. And so this is one of the cards that I made the background last week during the very virtual, and I just finished it up. So this is the same general layout I'm going to use for all of the cards that I'm making today. And I'm going to make this background for you. And then I also have another one that I haven't completed yet that we will just do here live in person together. And I'm hoping, does that show? Yeah. Does that show that it's green? So I used the Granny Apple Green and just did some blending on that butterfly there. Thought I'd add a little, just a splash of color to that one. Okay, so I am going to get, what do we want to start with? We're going to need our Stamparatus first. Oh, I was even starting already. So I have one already on here that, you know, I better ink that up again. All right, I already did Versa. This is how I stopped in the middle. All of a sudden it was 10 to 10 and I thought, oh shoot, I can't keep going here on making these butterflies. So what I was doing, I've got my, let's just get right into it. I've got watercolor paper here. This is the size that it comes. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and heat emboss the sheets and then I'll share with you the different things you can do with it. I'm doing a second layer here because like I said, I did it and then I got sidetracked to get started. And so I just went ahead with the Stamparatus. Looks like it could use one more little push down right here. And you'll see underneath here, I do have my Stamparatus set up with a mat as well because I was doing some actual stamping. Well, what is this called? This is an actual stamping? Yes, this is actual stamping too. But I was dropping in the butterflies and only doing one or two at a time. We did that in our team meeting the other day. And I will share with you those cards that we made. Well, you probably want to see, I'm off screen here. So now what I'm doing is, you know, I don't want to get that all dirty. That's silly. Okay, silly. Let's move this out of the way. I did grab my fun little vacuum today, so that's really helpful to have when you are using embossing powder. Okay, so now I'm doing this in gold today. So last week I used the white. I'm also going to do one in white today too, but this is the gold embossing powder. There is also silver, clear, and the white. And what I like about using the watercolor paper in a stamp like this, if I'm going to do a bunch of different kinds of coloring, is that the watercolor and the heat emboss, you know, the watercolor, I can get it pretty saturated with water. And let's just do that. And it's not going to like bow up. It's going to stay nice and flat. And I like doing the embossing because it's going to resist the color, and it's going to let my gold still stand out. Okay, so I have a gold one here. Now I think we'll bring this back in. We'll do a few of these up right away. Okay, so there is a free, let me just give you a glimpse of those. So if you, as you're looking, you think, gosh, I might want to order this butterfly collection because it's quite beautiful. These are the free with a purchase cards right now. You get 2 of them. 2 of each. Everything is cut and prepared for you. The only thing not included is the stamped images. And so as you see on this one, I did use the happy thoughts, but the peaceful moments that I'm using all month long as well would be a great option for it too, or if you have another sentiment stamp. And so even if you don't have the butterfly collection and that's not on your radar, but you'd like to get a set of those cards, you can purchase anything. It doesn't have to be those butterflies. And I'll send you a set of those cards. And of course, I always have the punch card. So with a $50 order as well, you get a punch on a punch card. I don't talk about that enough. I should probably talk about that more. And then after 10 punches, you get a free stamp set of any value. So that's the Stampin' Scrap perks that I offer. And I'm going to go ahead and plop this down, and we'll do this one in white. And I probably, well, no, I think I have a scrap, so I can do just one white. So we'll do one of each. We'll try to keep the time down today. I don't know if that's possible, but we'll see what we can do. The other day during our Cafe Crafter team meeting, or not during it, prior to we pre-recorded, my downline member Tessie did a demonstration on the blends brushes, which I will share with you as soon as they become back available with Stampin' Up. Currently, our blends brushes, which are fabulous. They're so fabulous. They went unorderable, but aren't they great? I was using them this morning. She did a great demonstration on them. She showed up at my house. I kid you not. I just have to show you this, or show you. I can't show you. Tell you the story. She showed up here just with like this tiny, tiny little envelope of paper. Cut, you know, whatever. And, you know, it had an oval and had this, that. And I said, okay, well, let's see the samples. And she goes, oh, well, I don't have samples. I'm thinking I'm just going to do this. And then we'll, you know, do that. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that'll work. And I kid you not, at 18 minutes, the video was 18 minutes long. And I'm looking for my white embossing powder. Let me see, where did the white go? If I was white embossing powder, where would I be? Probably right to the right where I put it. But anyway, so she showed up about 1:03. Of course, we had to say hi and, you know, the standard greetings when you see somebody. And then she showed me what she was going to do. By 1:36, we had 4 cards, 4 beautiful cards. Okay, I got to just show them to you. 4 beautiful cards just done. And so that is something we do in our meetings every month, as we do like a little demonstration. Look at this. And I'll be sharing how to do these too now that I know how. Look at these beautiful cards. Just showed up. Yep, I think that's what we're going to do. And we had 4 lovely cards within 36 minutes. And a videotaped as well. So that was pretty cool. So I thought, well, man. And that was her first video ever. So Tessie's from Never Say Never Stamping. She's got a Facebook group. And oh man, what happened? We ran out. So let's get this back in here. And let's go another round. So it looks like on my gold, there's no rhyme or reason to how I do things around here. On my gold, I'm using a coffee filter. On this, I've got this container. No,
Like I said, no reason for either. It just is what it is. It's how it works out some days. And now I'm going to be done with that embossing powder. So now what I can do so I don't get a mess all over is I do have this nice little vacuum. If you want one of these, super cool. I think you need one. I mean, first you need to get the Butterfly Brilliant set, and then after you do that, you're going to be doing heat embossing, so you're going to want to get this little vacuum cleaner. Keep your space nice and neat and tidy. I mean, just right here. Don't look to the right, the left, or behind me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is grab my heat tool, and we need to heat these. All right, let's get it ready to go. And this is where the magic happens here, is once it starts heating up here and it turns, the white's maybe not quite as easy to see. Oh yeah, it's showing up. I think it's showing up. Oh, it is. See, look at that. It's starting to get a little shiny. Now watch your fingers on this. If you prefer, I do always like to mention this, some people prefer to heat from behind. I'll show you that. That works too. You can see that that's starting to turn. I like to go this way. All right, and then, so this is the heat tool. That is something you do need to have if you're going to do heat embossing. And so I really encourage you, if you haven't heat embossed in a while, break that back out. It's super fun. If you haven't tried it, oh, what a better time to try it than right now. I don't think there is a better time. Especially if you got these butterflies. And it missed a little there, but this is going to be my background, so that's not going to matter. This would make a beautiful tone-on-tone card too if I just left this white. And look at how nice that is. And then we'll do the gold one too. So you just want to be careful if you're doing it. You can heat a bunch at the same time. You just don't want to bump it because the powder will fall off of there. But if you just set it aside, you don't have to rush to get it heated. Heat up, whatever. So you don't have to rush to get this part of it done. You can do your stamping. You do want to get your powder on there relatively quickly before the ink dries. But this part of it, you can leave it set aside and then do a few at a time. So you see how pretty the gold is as well. And I was inspired, if I see it, I don't know if it's back there. I think it is. I'll show you the card that I was inspired to use the gold. During that very virtual party last week in the Sharon show, there was a really beautiful card that I received in a card swap. And it had the golds and purples. So that was my color inspiration to do this in a purple color. And just about done here. You know, it's so fun when you do some larger images like this. And as long as, you know what I'm going to need, as long as I have it here, I am going to need a gold. I have white done already for my thank you that I had done when I was practicing. But I am going to need something done up in gold. So I need to do that too. So as long as I got this part out, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to use the Happy Birthday from the Peaceful Moments. So you see that beautiful thank you. If I find the stamp set, I'll show you. Got a little messy in here this morning. I was like spotless all week and then go to make one card or 2 cards or something to show this morning and poof, it just exploded. And now I've got stuff everywhere again. But if you ordered last week during the virtual party, I do have all those things going out. I've got all, oh boy, that didn't work out so good. That did not work out so good. But that is why we have this. Clean that up right away. Okay. And let's set that aside. Wait. Okay. I was going to put it away before I even did the embossing. Well, let's get it together here. Okay. Oh, it's going to turn out perfect. And then I'm just going to fussy cut that. Yeah, that has been a thing lately. I have been liking it. Fussy cutting the lettering. First, I wasn't quite so sure about it, but it is just really kind of fun. I'll show another card that I did that to. Here, it's on one of the, oh, it's not on that one. It's on my sample here. So here was another little fussy cut where I fussy cut the letters out. Just adds it something a little bit different. Like an oval wouldn't quite work there, you know, another shape, but I still wanted it to pop up a little bit. And so just quick fussy cut it out pretty close. And now I got a nice sentiment to put on the bottom. And so I've really been liking that concept. Okay, now I will put this stuff away. We are all vacuumed up and cleaned. And I'll set those aside for right now. And let's see what we're gonna do with these. I do need some scratch paper here. So I'll do one, I'm gonna do the white spritzed how I did it last week, which I should do that one first so it has more time to dry. So what I've done with that is I have gotten my Stampin' Up! Spritzer, and I'm gonna need some paper towels. Let me see if I have some. I better go grab another roll. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, so the only non-Stampin' Up! Product I am using in today's demonstration, of course, is my little vacuum cleaner. And then paper towels. Everything else, the spritzers, my watercolor pens, they are all... Okay, got that out of the way. So let me move that one. So we'll do this one first. This is very similar to what I did last week. In fact, oh, here it is. Here's the stamp set I'm using for the sentiments. I'm going to grab this out. Because spritzing, it does get a little bit messy. So I'm going to kind of spray it into my container. As you see, that's kind of a fun looking container now that I've been spritzing in it quite a bit. So let's go ahead here and just spray it. And what I have in here, let's talk about that. I have a couple drops of my re-inker. I use, so there is one other Stampin' Up! It helps it dry faster. I'm not sure if there's another reason. I was just told to do it, and so that's what I do. I use rubbing alcohol in here for my liquid. I've got Magenta Madness, like 3 drops of that, and just a tiny little droplet of this frosted white shimmer paint. And that's what I mixed in here. I just shook it up a little bit. And now I'm going to get to spraying here. And originally when I did this last week, I was only doing it to cut these out. That was my whole purpose, was to cut them out and then use them on a card. After it dried, let me tell you, it was way too pretty to even mess with cutting it out. So I did not. And I used it in a card, and it is so beautiful. And now every time you do a card like this, it's going to end up looking a little bit different. You know, you're not going to get the same color every single time. It's going to be little different variations, as you see here. Oh man, that's looking pretty. So it's got just a little sparkle to it. And what I'm going to do now, you'll see how nicely that heat embossing, that embossed butterfly, resists the color of the pink. So this is where I do need to get a paper towel. I'm going to let that drip that way a little bit. Let's see here. Maybe I want to spray it just a little bit more. Again, after it dries. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm overthinking my situation here. Don't do that. Let's not overthink the situation. I think it's going to be nice. And so I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop right where I am. And I'm going to blot it, because after I blot it, it's going to blend those a little bit more too. And that's the whole idea. I don't want it to be a solid color. And so all I'm going to do is blot the rest of that, the liquid off of there. I'll show it to you. So again, I'm using the watercolor paper. And look at how pretty that is. There's just a smidge of a shimmer to it. Too pretty to even cut those butterflies out. Although I cut out a sheet of them to use. And then I'm going to leave this one as a background, and I'll show you how that goes together. And then here I have got the gold ones. And what I'm going to do with the gold ones is I'm going to use the watercolor pens. And the watercolor pens do come with 3 different sizes. So I did a little practicing with them. I like because I'm going to do this whole background to use it as the background, just how I'm going to use this one. And so what I'm going to do is just use the really big brush one, and I'm just going to brush it. Now, if you really get into painting, there is really some handy things that you can do here. But I don't get too fancy again. So you're with Simple Stamping Tammy. So I'm going to show you just a real simple way to do some watercolor. If you like to, you know, test out different things, you don't have to be an expert at this by any means. This was my first time trying this morning, and I thought it turned out quite lovely. It's just another way to get color onto the paper. And here we go. I'm just gonna, so I've got water in here already. I'm just gonna squeeze it a little bit. I put my re-inker, my Highland Heather re-inker is what I'm using today. I'm gonna squeeze that a little bit. That's gonna get some water off there. So, oh, there it is already. So water's coming out of there. I had a little purple on my brush already. So I'm just gonna dab it in my re-inker, and I'm just gonna go ahead and make a nice background. And I can always go back and make it darker in some areas, lighter in others. And that's all there is to that. And then so the same thing, but prior to the video, I did do a sheet of these and I cut it out. So I do have a set of these butterflies cut out. And I'm just gonna, see now I want a little more water, so I just squeeze it and more water's gonna come out of there. If you wanted to do a lot of detail within these butterflies, there are the other tips of these brushes, so you could get very detailed with those. But for the sake of my watercoloring skills that I have not practiced and time, we're just going to do a background. And so same here. So this is a good way to show how it resists the color. And that is what is really nice about the heat embossing. Again, I've said that about 4 times now, but that is really a great part of heat embossing. Again, I'm just going to rub that color off of there. Now at this point, if I wanted to make it darker in any areas, like maybe I want, you know, just the inside of this butterfly to be darker, I can go back and do that with my smaller one. You can even go in with other colors, but again, for the sake of keeping it simple, I'm just using one. So another way to use a re-inker, you could pull ink off your ink pad, but using the re-inker is really probably the best way to do this, the easiest way. And then, you know, when you're going to coordinate, if you're using stamps that are the same color, all your papers are going to coordinate perfectly with your color that you've used on your watercolor. Okay, so there we have that. So that's how you do a very simple way to do the watercoloring. So nothing complicated about that. And so I did do one up prior to, this wasn't that much earlier, so it is already dry. I'll set this one aside. Hopefully it'll dry by the time I'm ready to do it. And let's put this card together and see how it's gonna turn out. I'm not even sure, so we will just have to wait and see here. So I'm gonna bring in my paper trimmer. And what I want to do is just trim this down because this is too big. And what I'm going to mat this one. So what I need this one to be is 5 by 3 3/4. So we're going to end up cutting some of it off. But I want it to be pretty even on each side. So, oh, I'm going the wrong way. So I'm just going to smidge off. I don't know if that's a word. All these made up words. What I'm going to do is go ahead. Let me pull this out. And I'm going to just do a quarter. I'm going to do the same amount on each side all around to start. So I'm going to just make sure I'm going to this line here. So just past that, as long as I do it the same way, because I centered this on my Stamparatus. Of course, I'm going to need to make sure that comes off of there. Let's see, what size are we? We're 5. So let's just go down 1/4 inch now on each side to get it nice and even. And so now I'm at 4 1/2. So quite a bit of this is going to come off. There's probably easier ways to figure this out, but this is how I did it. It worked. So I'm going to just repeat. When it works, why change it, right? And now to get it to 3/4, looks like I just need to go 1/8 inch on each side. And if you wanted that butterfly bigger, you could certainly, you know, you center it up however you'd like. But at the end of the day, what I want it to get down to is 5 by 3 3/4. And so you'll see how nice the background looks. So as a big sheet, it was maybe like, wow, I don't know where she's going with that. But now as I've got it into a smaller sheet, it's looking quite pretty. And not that it wasn't looking pretty before. And let's get some Highland Heather paper. So now all of this is very, very standard. And I don't know about this here. Hold on, I gotta take a look here. But I think that's what we're gonna do. That is what we're gonna do. Okay, so I've got Highland Heather, standard sizes here, 8.5 by 5.5, score at 4 1/4. Fold in half, crease it with your bone fold if you have one. I don't know how I don't have a bone fold here. That's like impossible. Let me grab one from the drawer. If there's one in there even. Well, for heaven's sakes, there's not even one in my drawer. We're gonna have to go without a bone fold. How is that gonna work? I'm sure one will show up again. They always do, but goodness, that is something. Here, you know what I'll use? I don't have a bone fold. I'll use my putty knife. You gotta have something. Gotta have a nice solid crease there and improvise quite well. All right, and so now I'm gonna mat it on a 5 1/4 by 4 basic black paper. And I have got little Miss Melody here. She's saying hello. We'll see if we can get somebody to come and get her. Allison, your dog is in here. Usually she starts jumping on me when she wants something, so I'm assuming she wants something right now. And instead of just looking for some other ribbon, I'm actually thinking I don't want this ribbon for this one. So I haven't done this card up yet. And so I'm thinking I want a different ribbon. I don't know that this goes with my purple. I want something a little bit darker. So I was going to use this. I'm going to use this too for this. Let's get a little crazy here today. And this is from the Forever Greenery ribbon collection. There's another spool of ribbon that comes with it, but as you know, if you've been watching, you know I like to do the little swooshy thing behind my circle things. I love this fine ribbon. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll just wrap it around a couple of times. So for the other card, so here I made a big deal that my polka dot tool came, but it will be great for the next card. Okay, and let's just even that up. I'm going to go around twice just so it's got a little bit thicker look to it. And let's trim that off. And just going to tie a bow. So all of these layouts are very simple, all the same, because really what I want to do is highlight the background. I don't want to overdo it on the front with other things, because really the star of the show here is this big stamp in the background. And that's how I want to keep it. And I'm going to leave quite a bit here. But what I'll do is, this ribbon is really cool. I want it to fray. So this ribbon kind of naturally does that. And I'm going to help it along just a little bit and separate it. And then let's adhere this. And we're almost done. I already did cut out a sheet of butterflies, like I said. So I had done up a couple sheets of these butterflies. I have got my stitch circle die and this is a stitch circle, scallop circle. The other day I couldn't remember what a scallop was. And it was 2 Facebook Lives that I forgot scallop. Like the words did not come to me. And now I've got it. Scalloped and stitched is what I have here. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this with some dimensionals. And then we'll add a butterfly in our sentiment, and it is going to finish off this card. And isn't that a great color combination? And just the black and the purples. Here is, the card isn't there. Oh goodness, I must have given it away to somebody already. I can't imagine I would have done that. I really liked it. But anyways, the card was using the purples in gold. And then I have all of these cut out already that I had done some watercoloring on to practice. And so then I can just pick whichever one I prefer. Looks like I like this one and I like that size. And I will adhere that in place. Also going to use some dimensionals. Oh, behind there, the swooshy deal. That's what I got to add on there. So now let's add a little swooshy deal on the back of there. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this around a few times. Set that aside and let's go ahead. So wrap it around. You've got a nice circle here. And let's go ahead and just meet in the middle. So now you have a circle. Now you have, I don't know, like a lasso or 8. So imagine that. You have an 8. I picture the number 8. That's how I do it. And I'm going to just hold it in the center there as I grab a glue dot. Let's put a glue dot in the center there. And just press it down. And now I can add my butterfly. We got to fussy cut that cute little sentiment. So wow, if that doesn't show off the heat embossing, I don't know what does. Holy moly. That has got some heat embossing going on there. And again, this was the first one I tried here, so we can decide which one we like better. I guess it depends on what coloring you like better. Do you like the pinks that I've got on this one? Or do you like the Highland Heather and the purple? So both are lovely combinations. It's just definitely a matter of your color preferences. Some people aren't quite so into the pinks, but maybe the purple. And this would look great, you know, and that's why it started with the purple. I was kind of envisioning making the same exact card in blue and green. And I love the new, well, it was new last June, one of the ink colors. I'm trying to think of the name of it. I used it last week because it was just so cute. Now I do like to have it a little rounded. I don't want such a rigid edge on that. So now let's go back around and round out our corners a little bit. So, you know, when you start something new, you'll probably see me fussy cutting my sentiments now for a couple of weeks until I find a new thing, a new little thing I want to try out. And I will put a couple dimensionals on that. Let's put 3. And that's going to finish off. The last couple times I've done a live, it's been actually people I want to talk to. So look at that. So that's like, this is beautiful. This is, oh man, that is gorgeous. I love it. Okay, so let's get into the next card. Also very similar. I'm going to make it into a thank you card. It's dry enough. So we can go ahead and cut that out. We'll do the same exact thing as we did with the last one. So just look at how pretty that is. Oh, look at that down there. I almost don't want to cut that out. It's so pretty. You could just put that, this would be great in a scrapbook. So you could do this in a whole page. Gosh, the ideas are endless here. Okay, I will go ahead and, now I know I can go to 4. After you do a few, you know how much you can cut off. And this one is just going to go to 4. I'm not matting this one on another color today. I don't know what to do. It's so pretty. I guess I'm going to have to just save these. Gosh, normally I don't save little scraps like that, but I don't know if I can let this pass me by. I should talk as I'm finishing up here and let you all know. I have to see what I cut off here. I will be doing the wrap up for the virtual party later this week. I had a little more on my plate than I intended earlier in the week, so I haven't gotten to it yet, but I will. I always do. So if you're waiting to see on the door prizes, and guess what? If you want to get back to the virtual party, you could just as well pretend that it's happening today. You can go back and rewatch and comment, share, like any of the content that was on there and still be entered for door prizes until I close it. So it's looking like it's actually not going to end up getting wrapped up until probably Friday. So if you didn't get a chance to do the very virtual party and you want to, you still can do that. Let's get a basic white. I have basic white. I know I do. See, this way, when I don't have my supplies, maybe I plan this. You'll never know. I can pretend anyways. That way you have to look at this beautiful piece of paper just a little while longer while you wait for me to find my supplies. I'm just kidding. That wasn't the plan at all. So I have got the thick basic white scored at 4 1/4 and just folded in half. We're going to use our informal bone fold here. Our palette knife can be switched out to a bone fold in a pinch. And then this is where I wanted that tool. So this is where I was really wondering what I would do if I didn't have my lovely tool ribbon. So what I can do is wrap this around. I'm going to want a nice big floppy bow here. So just, this is how I do my bows. I don't necessarily usually measure my ribbon. I don't ever measure my ribbon. I just put it aside. I go to the left. I know how much room I need for a bow. Give yourself enough room. Now, sometimes I don't do it quite right. Like a few weeks ago, I didn't. And that got a little bit dicey if it was going to turn out or not. But I managed to pull it off. So again, always put a glue dot down where you want your bow to fall. It helps you tie that bow. It gives you a little leverage when you're trying to tie. So do your knot first. And then it's in place. You don't have to worry about it moving all around on you. So just push it down and then tie a bow, just how you tie your shoes. And this one, this ribbon is really forgiving in the fact, like you don't have to worry about how the middle works, you know, however it turns out, because it's just going to be fine. You know, some of the ribbon you got, you know, you want to maneuver it and you got to make sure you're twisting right. This stuff, this is just like the end all be all ribbon. It's beautiful. It's easy to tie a bow. And yeah, it's just pretty. And it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite things. All right, and so I'm gonna just adhere this. Oh, it's still a little wet. I'm using my plus. I always forget, I gotta be gentle, but I don't need very much because it is the plus. Look at how cool that outlining turned out. Again, they're all just a little bit different. I wonder if on this one, when I spritz this one, maybe I had more magenta madness than I did on this one. Look at that. I mean, they're both cool, but I think I had more because I get like this little halo on those. So now we need to fussy cut out our thank you that I already have done. I don't want to use my ribbon scissors. Let me grab out the other scissors. Did you know? So this is my ribbon scissors. Of course, many of you knew. I didn't know until I started stamping, because I never sewed or anything, that you should have like a different ribbon scissors. And I thought, why are my scissors always going dull? I have been using this scissors, this Stampin' Up! Scissors, since November. Stampin' Up! Sent us this little charm thing for on stage. And so I've been using this one and it has not gone dull. It is just perfect. And since I have the charm on it, you know, I know the difference. So if you don't have a charm on your scissors, I highly recommend adding something. Add some washi tape, throw some ribbon on there, and then you'll be able to keep the same ribbon scissors for darn near ever. And I like that it's smaller, so it can just sit in my cup with the other ones. But in a pinch, I used to always just grab whatever and wouldn't pay any attention. And then I was like, gosh, why does this keep going dull? And then, of course, some experienced quilters informed me of the issue. You could tell I did not do that ever. Okay, so I've got a nice thank you. Again, I'm new to this, so when I do this, I always have to go back and round my edges. I always leave them a little bit harsh, and I don't like that in the end. So I want them a little bit rounded. And same thing. This card's going to be exactly the same. I'm going to have my scallop black, my basic white stitched. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the other ribbon here. I didn't order that one, the mesh, the silver mesh ribbon. So we're just going to do without, but this will still look really nice. If I had some silver, so this is, I'm hoping and praying, everybody, hoping and praying with the new catalog that there's going to be some silver thread. So some silver thread like this in silver. I mean, wouldn't it be cool if it was in every color? Goodness. So, you know, that's something I can just keep on. If it doesn't, I'll always figure out something else though. Never too worried about that. And so I had a bin of these here. So I had done a sheet of the butterflies. So I also have one of those ready that I can adhere to the front of my card. I love the contrast on this of adding that little bit of black. It just adds such a nice pop to the card. And we're going to try it with a thank you. My other sentiment is life is better with friends like you. And then this one, I'm just going to make a thank you. I don't know why there's really no rhyme or reason to how you have to put your dimensionals on, as you can see. You just kind of put them however you want to put them, I guess. As you can see, I'm not real particular on certain things. And then we can put this right in the center, and that's going to finish off this beautiful card. And then I'll bring them all, oh gosh, that's too big. We can't use those huge dimensionals. We have little ones. That's what our little ones are for. Boy, good thing I caught that one. That would have looked quite silly. And I will tear these off. And then we are just about done. I will edit this post. So if you're still watching here, thank you so much for watching. I will edit this and add in the host code. So if anyone is interested in getting those free with a purchase cards, any purchase that you make that's $50, I will ship them to you for free. They will arrive within a couple of weeks. It takes me a couple of weeks to get things printed and ready. So, and if you're waiting on anything from me, every single thing that is going out of here, with the exception of the door prize winners for the very virtual party, is going out this afternoon. Everything is sitting next to me. I think I have about 40 packages to drop in the mail today. So they're going to love me down at the post office. All right, here we go. Let me wrap up my favorite polka dot tulle ribbon. And then I'll bring these cards in for you all to see. Let's put these two next to each other so you can see those. Look at that. So again, every time you do it, it's going to be a little bit different when you're working with the re-inkers and the spritzing and watercolors. And let's put this one here. I wonder where I put all of those green ones. Oh, they're right behind me. I'll just sprinkle these pretty little butterflies that I have. And I'm going to look at the comments here. Last week it wouldn't let me scroll, but I will see if there's any comments here that I should address for you all. But I thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed today's little video. Look at these. Now I have all of these left. How am I going to get anything done today when I still have all these little butterflies left to do something with? It's going to be a tough afternoon for me to concentrate on anything. But you know what I am going to work on? I'm going to work on a one-sheet wonder. So, hey, look forward to that. I will be sharing some of that coming up here. It is for next Monday's class. It's an all occasions class using the Work of Art suite. So if you didn't get in on that, there's still going to be an opportunity to do that because I kind of failed in the department of showing you what we're going to do. So I'm going to make that up and there's still going to be opportunity to sign up for it. But if you're signed up for it, you are in for a real treat. It's going to be a one-sheet wonder. All right, everybody, let's take a look. Okay, so it looks like a bunch of you were watching. Thank you so much, everybody. I will plan to be back for sure with a live next Wednesday. It will be March 17th. Oh my goodness. So that means it's going to be St. Patrick's Day. Oh boy, I better figure out something for that. All right, everybody. If I don't see you before then, have a wonderful week and enjoy all of the stamping that you're doing and creativity. Reach out if you need any help with anything. Have a great day. Bye-bye.